This is day 11 of starting a 10K a month business while working a 9 to 5. Hey everyone, what this video is about is I'm going to explain the biggest problem I've been facing since starting this journey. So it's only been 11 days, but there's really been this one thing I see that's either going to make this a 1,000-day journey or a 500-day journey. So what that problem is, and I think the best way to explain it is to explain what's happened today. So it's the 4th of July. That's not a big thing in South Africa. I know it's a big thing in the United States. But what happened was it's Saturday. So I planned to put in a 10-hour sprint or 10-hour session to really put some work in today. It didn't happen. What happened was I wanted to get up at 5. I didn't, for obvious reasons. My girlfriend said she wanted to go to the gym. We went to the gym. That was around about 9:30 in the morning. So not that early, not that late, but just early enough for me not to do anything in the morning. We went to the gym. Right afterwards, I drove her to return something she bought earlier in the week. It was about half-hour drive there, half-hour back. After that, I went to, do some groceries, came back, meal prepped for the next 2 weeks, and then after that, it was basically 5 o'clock. Super tired, obviously, because it was a busy day of literally just running around. She called me and was like, do you want to come watch the game at my place? And obviously I said yes, because at the moment I was tired, not keen to work, not keen to do anything. So that happened. And then I come back afterwards, after the game, after spending some time with my girlfriend, and it's now 10 o'clock at night. So where did the 10-hour workday go? Why couldn't I just have treated it like a normal workday, getting up at 6, starting at 7, and working 9 hours, finishing at 3 or 4? And it's only my fault. It's not my girlfriend's fault or anyone's fault that I didn't put in the time. And I think really, what I want to touch on here is I haven't spoken much about my spiritual life in this series. I think this may be a good time to bring that in. So I am a Christian, and if you're not a Christian, please don't leave. You're probably one of my 3 viewers, so kind of need you. But, I'm not going to make this channel all about like Christianity and everything. But I think I want to share the learnings where I think it's applicable. So, in my experience, I think that, and I'll tell this story because I think it encompasses it quite well. In the Old Testament, there's a story about a widow with, that's like super in debt. And she has a couple of sons, and I think it was Elisha. I think Elisha went to this town she was in. She met Elisha and she was like, listen, I'm so in debt. I have no money. I have nothing. I have only this one container with oil in it. And, I literally only have that. So Elisha told her, listen, go and get all the containers you can find. Go and get it and start filling it up. She started filling it up and, sorry, I just spat all over the place. She started filling it up and the oil just kept on flowing until the last container was full. And then the oil stopped. What's profound about this story is, and reading it, you're like, okay, cool, it's a bit of a miracle. What does it actually mean? So what it means is the anointing or the oil didn't stop because God's provision stopped or God's, favor or blessing stopped. The oil stopped because her containers got full. What that means is God's blessing, I wouldn't say it's going to stop, but Him giving you opportunity is going to stop when your capability runs out. And where does this, feed back to the story I've told in the beginning? The way I see it is, God's provision. So God giving me this blessing of this business, God providing me with more opportunity, really depends on how I steward what I have already. And that what everyone has at the moment is time. So I think it's the most basic thing that you can show that you can actually steward it, and God's going to keep on providing you with more and more and more. But He's not going to do that if you can't even steward the little things in life. And I mean, the little things are really the big things, which is your time. So if you scroll 3, 4, 5 hours a day on Instagram, Facebook, God's not going to give you with more blessing or more opportunity or that breakthrough, not because He's like, well, what a sloth you are, how bad you are. I don't think He says that. I think He says, listen, I'm not going to give you all of these responsibilities because that responsibility is going to crush you, because I have mercy for you. I know what it's going to do to you. I know you're not capable of it. I'm not going to give it to you just to hurt you, because it's going to basically crush you and you're not going to be able to handle it. So I think that's really why I see it as such a serious problem, me not being able to steward my time. And, I think that's really something I need to work on. It's way more important than the next best offer I can write or come up with, and then trying to sell that to get clients. I used a bit of a weird example, but I think you get my point. So it's really that's the next thing is, especially I think tomorrow I'm going to be working on the business. Today was kind of like my off day. So tomorrow I'll be working on the business. And I said this last Sunday, I said this when I started the series, is it when I started the series? I think so. So last Sunday I said that I'm going to make a schedule. I'm going to, block out my calendar, how I want to spend the next week. And the point is not to become a walking Google Calendar. When someone asks you, do you want to do something Friday night? You're like, nah, well, my Google Calendar says I need to work. Even though it is that, I think it's really finding the balance between being so strict with yourself and actually doing the work when you say you're going to do the work. And I think in the beginning, it's super important to be gracious with yourself, not like the first time when you block out your calendar, block out like 4 hours a day, every day of the week, and making no time for yourself. I think that's the wrong way to go about it. I think it's more understanding in the beginning that, you're not capable enough to spend 4 hours a day and 10 hours on the weekend on the business. It's really getting in that groove of just setting the schedule and keeping to it. So that's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to try. And really, I think that's like the fundamental thing I need to start doing now is stewarding my time. And when I get that right, I believe He's gonna provide me with more favor, more opportunity, more blessings, more responsibility. Because if I can't even manage my own time, how am I going to manage marketing for other businesses? So that's really the message for tonight. Hope it helps. Hope it maybe resonates with you on some level. That there are some things you need to get right in your own life before you can go out and change the world. So hope it helps, and I will see you in the next video.